Okay, so we're left with a cliffhanger. We left the question on page 479. 479, remember? In the Rashi, 479 in the Rashi Bet and Gimel. Remember, we went over it yesterday. And Rashi gives a blow-by-blow description of how the Parah Duma works. It's a kapara for the egel. So how come Rashi starts out saying it's a complete bafflement, right? And we don't know what to say. There's no way we can figure it out. What do you mean we can't figure it out? Rashi, you figured it out for me. You gave me a step-by-step breakdown of the cheta, that it's an exact gershom, an exact kapara for the egel. Even so much that it has these paradoxical qualities that it can contaminate and what at the same time. Because look at Rashi lemishmeret. See Rashi tet and 479 gershom lemishmeret. Why are the ashes kept for always? You see lemishmeret. Right? Just like the egel was betama, anyone who comes in contact with a getchka becomes tamei. I'm reading the Rashi tet lemishmeret. 479 lemishmeret. Rashi says that why is the paraduma defiling and purifying at the same time? What's the mystery, says Rashi? Come on, the egel did the same thing. Anyone that handled the egel became tamei. Rachon. Kach Parah tetama kol oiskim boy. So too the red cow, which is a kapara, also contaminated anyone that what? Touched it. Ukeshem shiratara be'efro. And remember Moses burned the golden calf. And he mixed it with water. And he gave the yidden to drink. And it purified them. So the same thing. The same thing. Just like the ashes of the golden calf mixed with water purified the yidden, so too the red cow ashes mixed with water. This time they didn't drink it like they did the golden calf ashes. This time they got spritzed. So what's the mystery? Right, Rabbi Yaakov Goldman? Fasten your seatbelts for the answer. Yes, we know the procedure. But the mystery that baffles us is why tshuva works. How are we able to change the past, to take a dirty schmutzika sin and turn it into a mitzvah? That's the mystery. It's not the procedure, the details. Yes, we know that the Parah Duma is a tikkun for the egel. It's a kapara. But how could that be? We sinned terribly. We tore down, we destroyed. And if you do tshuva, you're able to turn that terrible sin into what? A mitzvah. Yuma pevav. Tshuva me'ahava zedonot naselo kischuyot. That doesn't make no sense. That doesn't. You'll never figure it out how we're able to rejuvenate ourselves, recreate ourselves, turning on a malaveira into a mitzvah. That's what Rashi means. We know the details, but how could it work? It's impossible. The koyach hatshuva is totally irrational. A guy rode a pig. A guy ate a pig. And he does tshuva me'ahava. So that act of eating the pig becomes a mitzvah. Does it make any sense to you? It makes no sense. That's the mystery. Hello? That's the mystery that Rashi says baffles us. We know the procedure, but why does it work? What's your question, Gabriel?
Didn't Rambam write a whole sefer on Shuvah?
Well, of course he wrote. But why does it work? He doesn't deal with the why, because no one can deal with the why. It doesn't make no sense. Can you change the past? You think the past is dead and buried. All of a sudden, the Koyach HaTshuva says you can go back to the future. You can go back to the past and reinvent yourself. Take those dirty deeds that you did, not just erase them, but turn them into a mitzvah. Who says so? Shimon ben Lakish, and he should know, because he used to be like Meyer Lansky. And he became the great Amora, Shimon ben Lakish. He says, guys, look at me. I used to be Meyer Lansky.
And he had more
And
push because
so he knew what he's talking
all
about.
things that he was doing.
What? So
For
all of his Averot.
all for the love of a girl.
What?
All for the love of a girl. Only he
So
thought,
that's
only
the-
he thought he was a boy.
Okay, now you got me started. He says tshuva me'ahava turns an avera into a mitzvah, right?
Right.
He's the role model. Did he do tshuva me'ahava? Tshuva me'ahava means only for the love of God, for no other reason,
Not to be a better person.
just because you love God. Not for any. If you do it for any other reason, it's very good, but it doesn't turn the avera into a mitzvah. It just covers up the schmutz. I mean, that's good enough. So what's the question here?
He didn't do it for love of God.
Did he do it for love of God? He says himself, he saw Rabbi Yochanan's sister. What a knockout.
He
set him up. Yochanan, right.
He saw the sex.
He said, you do tshuva, join my yeshiva. I'll give you my sister who's even more beautiful than I am.
He didn't. He went both
He
ways.
says, you're on,
Obviously went both
Buster.
ways.
You're on, Buster. He raised a beautiful question. How could Shimon ben Lakish make that statement? He did tshuva me'ahava. He did tshuva because he loved the girl. Powerful lesson here, Gershom. Tshuva me'ahava, they're having a marathon on Friday. You can't run the marathon before you learn how to walk. First, you have to do tshuva for selfish reasons. That's the great tzaddik. Look at me. You have to do tshuva. Nike, just do it. But once you're started, you will graduate to tshuva me'ahava. You don't believe it? Says the great Rav Shimon ben Lakish. Look at me. I saw this beautiful knockout girl. The rabbi promised to fix me up with her. You got a deal. But then he graduated.
Shimon ben Lakish?
Shimon ben Lakish, the great Shimon ben Lakish. B'Metzia, page 87, 88.
He's in the. He and Rav Lakish. He and Rav Yochanan are
Brother-in-law. They're
brother-in-laws, and they're about 50% of the Talmud is these two guys
Right.
talking back and forth.
So this is a beautiful point. Tshuva me'ahava. Beautiful. Tol shelo lishma bo lishma. That's what the great Rav Shimon meant. Tol shelo lishma. But you can't start running the marathon if you don't train first. This Friday. Okay.
It won't make a difference. You're not coming in, so you know.
All right. So you like that?
You don't have to take the
I hope
trade
Sam
from,
heard
you don't
that.
have to take the trade from this guy's right
Right.
here.
That's
Things are easy.
that's the great mystery. Lishanot et ha'avar. That zedonot, nasik, and zechuyot. That's what Rashi means. It's just impossible. You'll never figure it out. Okay. Now we're moving on. This week is Parshas Parah. He came just to hear this. The Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Tov Reish Pei Hei that reading Parshas Parah this Shabbos is a doraita,
Just like
is a mitzvah min Torah like Parshas Zohar. Many people are not aware of that.
you know, announcement. I thought it was only Zach.
And Shulchan Aruch is very cryptic. I mean, where does it say in the Chumash you have to read Parshas Parah? All the readings of the Torah was written, and then Moshe Rabbeinu and Ezra made a takana to read it on Shabbos, right? On Monday and Thursday. So Parshas Zohar, I understand. It says, remember Amalek. Right? It says clearly, right?
What?
In Pasuk Yitei, say, remember Amalek, by reading it. That says clearly. But where in the world can Shulchan Aruch make a statement that Parshas Parah is also a mitzvah min Torah? It doesn't say how, where, when. Goodbye. I'm going to tell you why. Good Kasha, Gabriel? Shulchan Aruch Orachaim Simin Tov Reish Pei Hey, that Parshas Parah, to hear it read, is a mitzvah bin adoraita, just like Parshas Zachor. No explanation, very cryptic. Why? Well, to answer this question, of course, what? We're going to ask another question. The Rambam in the Parashat Mishnah is a tract that's in heaven, lists 13 principles of faith of the Jewish religion. And one of them is the belief in Tchiyat HaMeitim. Ani Mamin, Ani Mamin. 13 principles of Yahadut listed in the Parashat Mishnah for the Rambam. One of them is to believe in the resurrection of the dead. He says if you don't believe in it, you are called a heretic, kofir. How do you say kofir in English? I think heretic.
Agnostic.
Agnostic, heretic. You have no chelik in the God of Israel. That's what he says. The last time I checked,
Actually, transfer comfort.
show me where there's a mitzvah in the Torah to believe in Tchiyas HaMeisim. Show me in the Torah, show me any list of mitzvot, Rambam, Chinuch, Ramban,
613.
where in the 613 is there a mitzvah to believe in the resurrection of the dead that the Rambam makes it an ikra of Yahadut. Last time I checked, Avraham, it wasn't on the list. This is a real bafflement. You're telling me, Gershom, it's an ikra of Yahadut. It's an ikra of Yahadut. So shouldn't it be listed somewhere in the list of anybody's list? The Ramban's list, the Chinuch's list. You hear my question?
I understand.
Isn't it a
It's not
baffling
listed.
question?
How could it be one of the 13 principles of faith? It's not listed.
What?
The only mitzvah about thinking
Avram, they let
is
you out?
Anochi.
They let you out?
You mean
There is no mitzvah of what you should think.
loving God is a mitzvah.
Anochi.
No, that's Malachid. V'ahavta Shem
Wasn't
Elokecha.
that mistake?
There's a mitzvah. Everybody, Baruch Hashem, list that mitzvah as a mitzvah to love God. How do you love God? Love God. So if there's a mitzvah to believe in Tchiyas HaMeisim, it should be listed like there's a mitzvah to love God.
Right. So what's the
How could you make Ikav Yahadut? I'm here to tell you.
See, it's no accident you walked into this moment. Shmuel.
I'm here to tell
listen,
you
Listen, Shmuel, Peter.
that the
Listen to this,
reason
when you walked
why
in,
Parshas Parah is a Doraita, because Parshas Parah reinforces our belief in Tchiyas HaMeisim. Therefore, the Shulchan Aruch says reading Parshas Parah is a Doraita. This is my chiddush. Take it or leave it. I'll prove to you. I think
say
that
it
I'm
again.
right.
Say it again.
Why the Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Tov Reish Pei Hey that reading Parshas Parah this Shabbos Avram is a mitzvah min HaTorah. And that's all it says. There's no comments on it. It's very cryptic. How can it be mitzvah min HaTorah? Where does it say in the Torah to read Parshas Parah? Where? So to answer this question, we asked another one. The Rambam says one of the ikar of Yahadut, the 13 Ani Mamad, is to believe in Tchiyas HaMeisim. So where is the mitzvah of Tchiyas HaMeisim listed in the Torah? Loving God is mitzvah listed in the Torah. Believing God is listed in the Torah. So Tchiyas HaMeisim, the ikar of Yahadut, shouldn't that be listed in the Taryag mitzvot? And it ain't listed. But perhaps it is. When the Shulchan Aruch says that what? That reading Parshas Parah is a Doraita. I'm here to tell you, Rav Shmuel, hear my chiddush. Take it or leave it. That contained in Parshas Parah, you know why it's a Doraita? That reaffirms our belief in Tchiyat HaMeitim, which the Rambam says it's an ikra of Yahadut. Now, the $64,000 question, Avraham Berkowitz, is how does the red cow reinforce our belief in what? Stay tuned. They can do some text analysis here.
We studied yesterday that
Right?
the
Let's
Tchiyas
do. Go ahead.
that the Tchiyas HaMeisim comes from Yov.
No, don't mix me up. That's Gilgal. Don't mix up. Many people confuse revival of the physical dead of reincarnation is not Tchiyas HaMeisim. It's the neshama comes back in a different bodysuit. Tchiyas HaMeisim is when the dead body will actually be what?
Come back to life.
So at the end of time, the Riyah Kodesh says, "Will the real me please wake up?"
Which age?
What
age do you come
which
back?
bodysuit do you come back
when I was
with?
30
Okay.
and young and handsome? Or when I
Which
was-
bodysuit do you
Which
come
one
back
do I-
with?
Which one do I get?
Which
Which
bodysuit?
one do I get?
Which bodysuit do I get? Okay, stay tuned. But you hear everyone what's going on over here. I'm going to prove to you
I prefer the 30-year-old one, actually.
that the ceremony of Tchias HaMesim
Actually, the 35.
somehow reaffirms our belief in Tchias HaMesim, which is Ikov Yahadut, and therefore Shulchan Aruch says that reading Parshas Parah is what? Okay, let's see how. What I'm telling you is based on the Ramban. I'm using him. He just says I'm applying it. He says that the Parah Aduma, look at the Parah Aduma, look, what is page 478, Pasuk Yud Zayin. What are the ingredients Avram used in Parah Aduma? Yud Zayin, V'lokhu latamei, person that's contaminated by death, right? Not if you touch a dead rat. No, only a dead human. You take me'afar shreipas achatos. Gershom, you have to hear me well. You take me'afar. What does afar mean? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. What does ashes represent? Death.
Okay.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So the afar, shreipas achatos avam represents what? Death. What do you mix it with? Benosan olav mayim chayim. What does mayim chayim mean?
Spring water.
No, I'm a literalist.
Live water. Live
Living, ever meet dead water?
flowing water. Well,
No, I'm a literalist.
Okay.
What does the word chayim mean?
Life. Live.
You ever meet dead waters?
Well, we interpret.
Did you ever meet dead waters?
The Red Sea is dead.
Says the great Nachmanides. Mayim chayim.
Not the Red Sea.
Mayim is the symbol of what?
Life. Anyway.
Where is the embryo, the fetus formed? In a sack of water.
Yeah.
The great Nachmanides, Rabbi Yaakov Meir. Therefore it says Mayim Chayim. I never met dead water. But Mayim is a symbol of what?
Torah.
Life.
Life.
Afar is symbol of death. Mayim is the symbol of life. So here you have life and death. So maybe that's it. There's life and then there's death. Right, Gershom? Looks like it's over. But what else do you use? Look at Pasuk Yud Ches on top of 479. What else do you use?
Third ingredient.
V'lokach ezov.
Take
You take grass.
Hazel.
Not the type you smoke.
Maybe that
You
works good.
take grass. Says the Ramban that the grass is the symbol of Tchiyat HaMesim because there's a pasuk in Tehillim 72. Veyotzitzu hametim ke'esef ha'oretz. When the time comes, the dead will sprout from the earth like
grass.
Azov.
Like grass.
Isn't that something? Why reading about a red cow? We haven't had a red cow in 2,000 years, Avram. We haven't had a cow in 2,000 years. Why are we still reading it? And why is it a Daraita? I'm here to tell you that by reading Parshas Parah, Avram, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You are Mikayim the mitzvah to believe in Tchias HaMesim. Because human beings need tangible symbols to focus. Focus. The ashes, death. Life is Mayim Chayim, but it's over, no? But the Azov, Psalm 72 says that when the time comes, the dead will sprout from the earth like Azov. Therefore, says the Tur Yeridea, when you go to a cemetery, what do you do?
With a stone.
You put a stone, but you also, what do?
Clean
You put grass on the grave. Here you don't put grass because there ain't no grass. But if you look at the Tur Yeridea, the custom was to put grass on the matzeva. Why, Abraham? What are you saying? That the dead guy won't stay dead forever. He will sprout like grass. Psalm 72. I'm glad I came today.
Grass and rock.
No, the reason you put the rock, because God is called Atzur, Tamim, Pa'oloi. That's another reinforcement. That your beloved relative is not 6 feet under, that's his bodysuit. He's with the rock.
He's with the rock. Yeah,
So that's why you put the rock. God calls himself the rock, Deuteronomy 32. But the grass is even the dead body will sprout from the ground when the time comes like grass. Who says so? King David in Psalm 72. You hear what's going on over here? So the Parah Duma, we're acting out, or I think the better word is reaffirming our belief in Tchias HaMesim, which the Rambam says Ikav Yahadut, and therefore the Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Tov Rei Pei Hey that's a mitzvah in the Torah. I want you to give this over, but first, make them squirm. How come it's a mitzvah in the Torah? Why is it mitzvah? How could it be a mitzvah? Shulchan Aruch just says that 3 words: mitzvah min the right to read Parshas Parah. That's it. You say why? And then you answer this question, another question. Tchias HaMesim is Ikav Yahadut. Where is it listed in the Torah? Shouldn't Ikav Yahadut be listed in the Torah? Loving God, fearing God, that is listed in the mitzvot.
Yeah.
Yes. So what am I, chopped liver? Where is Tchias HaMesim listed? That's why the Shulchan Aruch says that Parshas Parah is what? Min HaTorah. Because that is the belief in Tchias HaMesim.
That's the proof for the 13.
Why to make a mystery out of it?
The whole thing is.
Then you wouldn't need me.
The whole thing is a mystery. The whole thing is a mystery. The half story and the dead thing. The whole thing is ununderstandable. Shlomo Melech said he didn't understand it. If Shlomo Melech didn't
How could
understand
Shlomo
it,
not understand it? Rashi gives a blow by blow. What didn't Shlomo Melech
he
understand?
didn't have Rashi.
He didn't have Rashi. It's a blow by blow. He didn't understand how tshuva can take an avera and turn it into mitzvah. Now you know that it's a kapara for the egel. So just because I do this, what is it, hocus pocus, chas v'shalom, I do this procedure and I get tshuva, it makes no sense. From a human point, it makes no sense. That's the ultimate mystery. How I can reinvent the past. How I can change the past. That's even Einstein, even Shlomo Melech can't figure that out. But everybody knows the procedure. Rashi spells it out on page 479, step by step, that it's a kapara for the egel. Yes, sir. Now it's your turn.
I believe there's another one equal to it, where Hashem promises if we do make a kapara on Yom Kippur, He will forgive and forget. How can we understand that?
It's the same idea.
Same thing. How can Hashem forget?
But that's the granddaddy of all sin is the cheta egel. That's what's the word? Paradigm.
Yes.
What is the kapara for the egel?
Paraduma. Read Rashi, my friend. Page 479. Rashi gives a mushal. Let the mother come and clean up the doo-doo of her son.
The calf, yeah.
The calf is the son. Made doo-doo, right? So what's the mother of a calf? A cow. Why is it red? Isaiah 1 says that sin is symbolized by what?
Red.
Because when you sin, you forfeit your life. It's a pasuk in Vayikra. What's the symbol of life?
Yeah.
What's the symbol of life?
Blood.
What's the color of blood?
Red.
Now we know, so far so good, why it's a cow, not a horse, and why it's red. And then Rashi continues, a blow-by-blow description. How could the defile and purify simultaneously? It's exactly what the egel did. It defiled and purified, because anyone who touched the egel became tamei. Then Moshe burned the calf, and he mixed it with water, and he gave the yidden to drink, Abraham, remember? And it purified them. So here you don't drink the ashes of the cow, you get spritzed. Close enough.
Give us.
So what's the mystery?
You're looking better. David, you're looking better.
We know the procedure, but we don't know why it works. It makes no sense how much God loves us to allow us to reinvent our past.
Forgive and forget.
Not forget, the Avera become, you're not listening to me. Tshuva me'ahava, the Avera becomes a mitzvah.
A mitzvah, yeah.
Does that make any sense? That's why the UN mocks us, that Rashi says, and we don't know what to say. It's not the procedure, it's the why. the awesome love that God displays in Koach HaTshuva. That's the ultimate mystery.
The Rosh Yeshiva says many times, we don't know how is the machinery working?
Yeah.
Even the Kiddushin and all this. How is the machinery working? That's his language.
Now, isn't it weird that a dead human is much more defiling than a dead pig?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense to you?
No, I never could understand it.
Glad you came today. Fasten your seatbelts. A dead pig, you touch a dead pig, the tumor is much less severe than touching a dead tzaddik. Does that make any sense?
This is the point. Because the tzaddik or the human being that was on a higher level has defined himself.
In a higher level.
Well, he's dead. It's not his fault that he's dead. What do you want from the poor guy?
He's
Why does his holy body contaminate more than a dead pig? Does that make any sense?
Because something
It's not his fault that he's dead.
nevertheless.
You know my question? This holy human being's dead body is much more tameh than a dead pig. That doesn't make any sense.
There was Torah. There was in that body. There was.
Okay. Good.
But it's
To answer
gone.
this question, we will what?
Ask another one.
Fornicus.
That's one. How is a dead person called in Hebrew? Take a look on page 479. Let's take a look. 479 Yud Chet. V'lokach ezov, you take grass, you dip it in mayim, and you spritz it on a person that touched what? Who did he touch?
That body.
Be'etzem, he touched a bone, or bechalal. What does halal mean? Pasuk Yud Ches. He touched etzem, a dead bone, or he touched halal.
That's what the Arabs use for their kosher.
Halal means a dead body. Avram, you see the word halal?
Yeah.
Even in modern Hebrew, I don't know if in modern Hebrew, but biblical Hebrew, a dead body is called a halal. The $64 question is what?
What means halal, huh?
We English word hallow
No.
comes from where?
Hello, empty.
The English word hollow, which means empty, is directly taken from the Hebrew. You ask any linguist. You can buy the book by Isaac Moseson, The Word.
I had it.
Everybody agrees, Baruch Hashem, that the English word hollow is taken directly from the biblical word halal. So why is a dead guy called hollow?
There's no soul.
The soul, and that's just
The soul level.
He's now a hollowed out shell.
No soul.
The godly soul's gone. So why is the empty shell more tummy than a dead pig? I'll tell you why. There's a principle in the laws of physics that nature abhors a vacuum. I like that word, abhors. I took Science 101, I think in the 9th grade, and they taught me, David, that nature abhors a vacuum. If that's true in the physical world, says Rabbeinu Bachya, it is certainly true, what?
The spiritual world, huh?
Certainly, because the physical world is only a reflection. Nature will not tolerate a vacuum. It's certainly true in the spiritual world. Since this body contained a godly soul, now it's gone. There's a tremendous vacuum left behind.
the pig never had that, so
The pig never had a godly soul. It only had a life force.
A life force, yeah, tolerate.
What do you compare that to a godly soul? So there's a very little hollow space when the pig is gone, when the life force of the pig is gone. So the forces to move in there, koiches hatuma, which are always swarming around. So because a human being was the greatest kedusha when he was alive, because he had a tzelem Elohim, now that it's gone, Avraham, there's a tremendous vacuum left behind. So why is he so tameh? Because the forces of tumah will rush in. Because this is the way God set up the system. Zeh Lumat Zeh, David. Koheles, right? Where there's great Kiddush. Why there's so many churches on Mount Zion? Where there's great Kiddusha, the forces of Tumah are always circling around. This is the way God set up the system. So when a person dies, the empty body has such a vacuum left behind that the koiches hatuma rush in to fill up the vacuum. It's a law of physics. But a dead animal has no soul. All it has is a life force. It's a little vacuum. Nicht gefährlich. The life force is gone. So it's only tamei till nighttime. Only got to go to a mikvah. So far, so good, right? I wish your sister would have come. Because she's going to love what I'm going to say next. Maybe you can tell her over. Oh, he's putting on, can you put it on rabbisprecher.com? Rabbeinu Bachya, this concept, I'm telling you from him, says this explains a great mystery. In Parashat Tazria, which is coming up, a woman gives birth to a baby boy, she becomes tamei. Why does she become tamei for? She participated, she became God's partner, creating a mensch. The Gemara Nida says that the mama and the tata supply the body and God supplies the soul. She's God's partner creating a human being. Why is she penalized? Why is she tamei? And what's a greater mystery, Avram, she gives birth to what? To a girl, she's twice as tamei. Help! Said Rabbeinu Bachya, are your seatbelt fastened? Based on this concept, a woman for 9 months was carrying a godly soul inside her womb. When the baby is born, there's a tremendous halal. Don't we know that nature will not tolerate a vacuum? Not a penalty for the woman. It's physics 101, says Rabbeinu Bachya. In the year 1000, we knew about physics. She carried a godly soul inside of a womb. Hello? Now the godly soul is what?
Come out.
So there's a hollow. So it's science 101, physics, she's tamei. Why twice as tamei for a girl? The Gemara Nida says something amazing. The shleimut hanefesh that a baby boy receives through Brit Milah, a girl baby is born with that shleimut hanefesh. Wee. Gemara Nida. Who said the Talmud was chauvinist? The tikkun, the shleimut hanefesh that a baby boy receives through Brit Milah Avram Berkowitz, that's 8 days later, 8 days a week. A girl baby, not just a physical thing that she doesn't have Brit Milah, she's already born with that what?
That tikkun, huh?
That shleimus hanefesh. Says Rabbeinu Bachya. What's the Gemara Nida telling me? That a girl's neshama is holier and higher than a boy's neshama. That's what Talmud says. That's why she doesn't undergo milah. Not just a physical thing. The tikkun on neshama that we receive 8 days, she's born with that. Kim tachois. How do you say that in English? Kim tachois. Kim tachois. The Rebbe used to say that I don't know. I can't translate in English. Kim tachois. That a girl's neshama is a higher level kedusha. Mm-hmm. So therefore, when she is born, the vacuum left behind is greater. Yeah. Because her neshama is holier. So when she's expelled from the womb, the halal is deeper. So the tumah is twice as much.
So why do men say shalom?
You hear Rabbeinu Bachya?
Yeah. But why do men say shalom on the Isha?
Because the Gemara in Brachas says that the worst pain in the world is the pain of childbirth. And we thank God that we don't have to undergo that. Gemara Brachas said that. How does she make the bracha? Shasani kirtzono. You made me exactly the way you are.
Yeah.
That's what the words mean. I'm the English translates. Because Shasani
Asani.
kirtzono.
Kerotzono. Okay.
The word neshama, the word shechina,
Yeah.
the word Torah, the word mitzvah are all what?
Female.
What?
Feminine.
Koinky dinky? The word shechina. Can you tell it over to your sister?
Is this a reason why?
Okay, this explains the weird concept of why a woman becomes tamei when she gives birth, based on this here, the halal. It's not a punishment, it's the laws of physics.
It's like Shasta Philip.
We forget that what's true in the physical world is how much more true. And the koyach hamoshech, the Kabbalah speak about gravity. Gravity, what? When you throw why does a ball fall up, not down?
We don't know what is gravity.
Well, fall up, not what?
Fall down, not up.
Oh, slicha. That's the Koach HaMoshe. Our tafkid is to strive to get up to him, and the Yetzer Hara pushes us down. That's the test. Gravity. You fly up, you want to get up to him, and then you're what? Push down. Sheval Yipol Tzadik. Become. Yerida. That's the Don't you see how it's all the game? Gravity. You strive to get up, but then you throw a ball way up, and then it falls down. Why does it fall down? Why doesn't it fall up? Isaac Newton faked a klotzkasha. I'm not joking. He sat under an apple tree, Sir Isaac Newton, and an apple hit him on the head. And he said, how come the apple, David, fell down, not up? And he discovered the laws of gravity. Sir Isaac got a bump on the head. So the Kabbalists explained before Sir Isaac, they knew the laws of gravity. This is the challenge of man. Sheval Yipol Tzadik. You have to keep, even though you get hurled down, you have to keep up. So it's all built in. Whatever you find in nature are tools and props, Reb Yaakov, to help us in our what? Avodas Hashem. Okay. Ready with me? Let's move on here. Parshas Parah, the Raisa. Have in mind, when you're hearing Parshas Parah, mitzvah strichas kavana, you're doing what mitzvah? Of reaffirming Tchias HaMesim. Mitzvah strichas kavana.
Even though it's not one of the 613.
It is. That's why the Shulchan Aruch said reading Parshas Parah is a deraisa. Then you're missing my whole point.
That's the point.
The Shulchan Aruch.
Who says it's one of the 613? Are you the only one?
No, Siman Tov Reish Pei Hey. The Shulchan Aruch says that Siman Tov Reish Pei Hey in Orach Chaim,
And he's looking for the
Seed
background.
Zion, says Parshas Parah deraita. 3 words. Why, if, when, then I'd be out of a job. It just says 3 words. Parshas Parah, and there are no commentaries by nobody.
Well, you got the first commentary.
So this applies also to women.
What?
It applies also
You'll
to
get
women.
more.
Oh, does a woman have to believe in Tchias HaMesim?
No, to listen.
Does a woman have to love God?
To listen.
I'm answering your question with a question.
She has to love
Does
God.
a woman have to love God and believe in Tchias HaMesim? Does she have to hear Parshas Parah?
So,
for sure.
A woman has to believe in God. A woman has to believe in Tchias HaMesim. Ani mamin. It's for women too. So therefore, it's also for women.
if they
Shabbat Zachor
publish.
Yeah.
is a mitzvah for sure for men, but for women.
That's Machlokas Rishonim. See, Parshas Zochar is a Machlokas. The Chinuch says that since women are not in the Parsha of combat, they're also not in the Parsha to remember the combat. But he's a Das Yochid. All the other Rishonim say that even though women are not in combat, they still have the mitzvah to what? To hear the Amalekite terrorist attack. All right? But Parshas Parah, the poskim are very vague about ladies. I'm telling you, according to my explanation,
Also in Parah. Also in Parashat
Parshas Parah, they're very vague. But I'm telling you, according to my explanation, based on the Ramban, since women have to believe in Tchias HaMesim too, just like they have to believe in loving God, because it's not a time-bound mitzvah. Women mitzvahs are not time-bound. Loving God, fearing God, are they time-bound?
No, that's
Right? Believing in Tchias
24.
HaMesim, that's 24/7.
Yeah.
Any mitzvah which is not time-bound, women are also obligated.
If they publish your commentary, you'll get a lot more hits.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, maybe Yaakov will put it on my website.
Well, you have to publish it to where they
Uh-huh.
put it in the book and quote Rabbi Sprecher.
Yeah.
Then there'll be more hits on the website.
Okay, let me B'chiddush Parshas Parah. You with me on this? This is what my Rebbe Rapam Zechus Hagel wrote. But I told you now is based on the Ramban. Ramban doesn't say it, but I'm extracting it. Please put it away. I'm extracting it from the Ramban. But what I'm telling you now, that is what I'm telling you now is based on Rapam on page 478. Pasuk Yudalid. This is all part of Parshas Parah, right, Abraham? Yudalid. Zot HaTorah. You have it?
Yeah.
This is the Adam Kiyomas Pa'oyel.
Yamut.
A human being that dies in a tent.
In a tent, yeah.
So the Talmud in Bracha Samech Gimel makes a very strange comment on this pasuk. Zot HaTorah. This is the Torah. Adam Kiyomas Pa'oyel. A human being who dies in a tent. That's what it says, right?
Yeah.
So anyone in the tent becomes, and the tent itself becomes what? A house can't become tamei. Because a house is like karka. It's page 478. A house is like karka. But a tent is portable. See, a house is permanent. The ground can't become tamei. A house can't become tamei. But a tent, which you pack up and move, like a Boy Scout tent, that can become tamei because it's portable. So the Torah says in Yudalit, a human who dies in a tent, anyone who comes in the tent, and everything in the tent becomes tamei, right? So the Talmud in Brachos Samach Gimel says as follows: Ein Torah mitkayimim elo shememis atzmai aleha. It says Zos HaTorah Avram, a person. This is the Torah. A person dies in the tent. So the Talmud says in Brachos Samach Gimel, the Torah cannot be kept unless you're willing to die for it. That's what it says. V'lois HaTorah Adam Kiyamos. So Rapam asks, I don't understand. The greatest mitzvah of the Torah is what?
To stay alive.
Staying alive, staying alive. What do you mean? The Torah cannot be kept unless you're willing to maim it atzmo, unless you're willing to kill yourself for it. Doesn't that go against the principle, Avram, if your life is in danger, you're supposed to eat on Yom Kippur, right? And drive on Shabbos, even for a suffix nefashos. What do you mean the Torah can't be kept unless you're willing to die? Remember I told you that Chaim Soloveitchik made Kiddush on Yom Kippur. It was a cholera epidemic in Brisk. He got up and made Kiddush on Yom Kippur because he knew the people wouldn't eat unless he showed publicly. A cholera epidemic.
I mixed up
What?
what you said about Rav Soloveitchik.
Rav Chaim Soloveitchik. Rabbi Soloveitchik tells us that his grandfather, Reb Chaim in Brisk, there was a cholera epidemic. Cholera epidemic.
Like,
Erev Yom Kippur.
bad
Cholera,
food.
which is potentially deadly. So he got up publicly on Yom Kippur and he made Kiddush. Because the doctor told him if you allow the people to fast, their resistance will be very low. And they may contract cholera. May or may not. And it may be deadly. So the may, he publicly ate on Yom Kippur. So a guy comes up to him and says, Rebbe, ich verstehe dich nicht. Wo sind ihr a Mekel in Yom Kippur? He said, I'm not a Mekel in Yom Kippur, I'm a Machmir.
Was it a Friday?
It was
evening?
Yom Kippur.
Friday evening?
No, he made Kiddush Yom Kippur morning.
On Yom Kippur.
during the day.
He said, I'm not a Mekel, I'm a Machmir.
And that you have to
I'm a
eat.
Machmir
You
in the
have to
Kuach
eat
Nefesh, which is greater than Yom Kippur. So the wise guy said, hey, Rebbe, you're a Mekel in Yom Kippur. Ich bin nicht kein Mekel, ich bin a Machmir. The Kuach Nefesh.
Why? What's the bracha? Same bracha any other food. You didn't make kiddush. I don't think they kiddush. You would just make a bracha.
Yeah.
Why would you make kiddush? There's no kiddush. There's no kiddush.
What?
Just
A
bracha.
man whose father
whole
just
shot
died.
cold
Yeah.
or food.
And this man was
Well,
totally
maybe
not,
wine.
He made on bracha bar pil guffin on wine. That's what I mean. That's a-
That's why I asked if it was Shabbos.
I understand.
Yeah.
No.
Yom Tov, you also make Kiddush.
Right.
yeah, sure.
For them, Yom Kippur was a mitzvah to eat. If your life is in danger, for you, eating becomes...
There's no
And if a
Kiddush.
guy is supposed to eat on Yom Kippur, and he doesn't eat, and he fasts and he dies,
He's breaking
the
the law.
halacha is you can't sit shiva for him. Because he killed himself.
It's
The
like
halacha.
It's like committing suicide.
If the doctor says you have to eat on Yom Kippur, and the guy said, I never ate on Yom Kippur, ain't going to start now. I could do it. And he fasts and he dies, the halacha is, you're not allowed to sit shiva for him. Because he has a din like a rotzeach. Because for him, eating on Yom Kippur was a mitzvah.
For a suicide,
You don't sit shiva.
you
There's
don't
excuses today. They say he wasn't in his right mind. They make up, Ruach Shtus, that he had charot at the last minute. Halacha gets around it. Technically, you're not supposed to sit shiva for a suicide, but the halacha gets around it.
The You want to penalize.
they say that what? He was Meshigeh, or maybe the last minute he had Charata. So there are loopholes, okay? But the halacha is strict. So where was I? Yemai Kasha?
Yeah.
So Rav Pam gave a beautiful answer. It says, you ever see, whenever a person's about to do a mitzvah, the Yitzhak will come up with something. You go to a shir, a daf yomi, you're about to do a mitzvah, all of a sudden the phone rings, and you get sidetracked, the broker is called. Try, every time you're about to do a mitzvah,
Helicopter.
something will come up. I don't know, ball game, a business meeting, someone you didn't hear for 9 years will call you. You write it, you'll see that it works. So how do you
Beat it.
how do you meet it? How do you beat it?
Beat it.
Adam kiyamis ba'oyel. I'm going to a shir now. I'm dead. For that hour in the daf yomi, mergers and acquisitions, for that hour I'm dead. So what do you bother me with hot tips, buy, sell Enron,
dead, they wouldn't
on the
buy
way
it.
down, on the way up, Enron. You see, Enron, you hear Rafam. The Yitzhak will always come up with tachbulois. It's so true. So the way, Zois HaTorah, Adam Kiyam, if you want to keep the Torah, when you are involved in a mitzvah, for that amount of time, Gavriel, make believe you're what?
You're dead.
A dead person doesn't need to worry about
Even your wife,
mergers and acquisitions.
Even your wife doesn't call you.
Oh,
Even your wife doesn't call you.
right, telephone calls. The wife called, I left my credit card somewhere, I'm locked in the car. For that hour, you're dead.
Right, locked in the car.
I'm out of this world for an hour. Oh, reminds me of a story. This lady was picked up in Supersal for stealing a can of peaches. So the police called her out, took in front of the judge. The judge asked her, a can of peaches? She likes peaches. How many peaches were in the can? So she says there was 7. 7 days in jail. So the husband was there with her. Your Honor, she also stole a can of peas. Don't you get it? There were 7 peaches. So he said 7 days in jail. So the husband is a good husband. He's honest. But judge, she also stole a can of peas. He's an honest husband.
He could have said a bag of lentils.
Should I write it down or what?
I have it on here.
Oh, you have it on there. Okay.
Okay.
Bag of popcorn, too.
Is this part of Kriyas Amesim?
Triat.
Kriya Amesim.
Not kriyat. Kriyat means to tear. Triat means to to revive the dead.
Yeah. So
There's one of the anima means
Kriyas Amesim is part of Kriyas Amesim is Daf Yomi. Then you're saying.
yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Meaning that you have to do it.
When you so my Rebbe's point was when you're doing a mitzvah, you're having an out of body experience. So all the shtuyot they can't distract you because you're an out of body experience that time. Adam make believe for that amount of time you're occupied in mitzvah. Make believe zot Torah Adam ki yamut. Otherwise, the Yitzhak will find 109 excuses why you can't do this particular mitzvah.
That's why it teaches us.
I'm too tired. You heard of a long lost relative, right?
Dead you or dead.
What? I like that, right? Okay.
So when you have a dead pig in an ohel, there is no...
No, only a dead
oil.
guy.
Only a dead human
A
being.
dead animal does not give tumas oyel,
Yeah, that...
right? There's a machlokas whether a dead goy gives tumas oyel.
Yeah, that fighter.
That's machlokas tanoim.
That's a good
In
question.
tractate Yevamot.
Yeah, that's a good...
Whether a dead goy, everyone agrees if you touch a dead goy, you're tummy 7 days, you need metkal. The machlokas tanoim is whether you're in the same tent with a dead goy.
That's a dead guy.
Does a dead goy convey tumas oyel, Avram? Machlokas Rav Shimon and the Chachamim.
Why one and not the other?
So for that we have to go. Avram.
To my ohel, a dead guy. Huh?
To answer your question, we have to go where? No, we have to go to Rashi. All the secrets are contained in Rashi. Rashi will answer your question. Rashi's there's a verse in the Torah which seems to what to be baffling against halacha. How can Torah go against halacha, right? Take a look what it says here on page 518. This is a key Rashi in the Torah. They're coming back, Avram, from the war against Midian. Background music on page 517. They're coming back from a holy war against Midian.
Yeah.
Midian caused the death of 24,000 Yidden. Remember? The first terrorists, they terrorized the Yidden to sexual immorality and on paganism, right? So Hashem says, take revenge and go kill out the Midianites, right? We are now, I'm giving you background music. Now we are on page 518. So the Chayalim I'm coming back from the war. They're coming back with their POW captives. They're Goyish captives, right? So what does Moshe tell them? Pasuk Yutes. Reb Gershon. Can you read it slowly and see what's difficult about this verse?
ואתם חנו מחוץ למחנה 7 ימים. כל הורג נפש וכל נוגע בחלל, תתחטאו ביום השלישי וביום השביעי אתם ושביכם.
The pasuk should have stopped atem. He's speaking to the IDF. They just came from killing terrorists. So they're tamei 7 days. They got to get spritzed on the 3rd and the 7th day. Ushvichem? Goyim have a din. Live Goyim need red cow ashes? Help! A live Goy cannot contract tumah. A live Goy cannot contract or give off tumah. Minat Torah. A live Goy. A Gentile who's alive cannot become, doesn't exist for him. He doesn't exist. So how could Moshe say, you and your POWs need to get spritzed?
Because they killed in the war the Goys.
Now
So you have...
Listen to me. It says, you and your captives have to get spritzed. You, I understand. You're an IDF Yiddish soldier. But your captives are Goyim. A Goy never has to get spritzed. A Goy has no concept of Tumah v'Tahara. What does the Torah mean? So fast you see. Okay. So we helping over here. I'm picking up the Rashi Tischato. Tischato. The Rashi on the right column in bold Tischato. Get spritzed. Tischatu. Right? Get spritzed. The Mei Nida. You see that Rashi? With the waters of spritzing. Kidin Shar Temei Mason. Like any person that comes in contact with a dead human, Jew or non-Jew, come in contact with him physically, comes Tamei what for 7 days, right? Sh'afle divrei omrim, here you have it, Kivrei nochrim eino metamin ba'oihel, even Rab Shimon who holds that a dead goy is not metama ba'oihel. If you walk into a tent with a dead goy, as long as you don't touch him, you're what? You're not tamei. Shenema. How does Rab Shimon know that? There's a pasuk in Yecheskel. V'aten tzoyni tzoyn mariti adam atem. Atem kriyim adam. All right, this is a very not PC. Atem kriyim adam. You are called mention. Ve'ein nochrim kriyim adam. Not very PC, is it, Gershom? You are called mention, but Goyim are not called Adam. So listen to this. Moide, listen. Even though Moide, but everyone admits Shanochrim mitamim b'maga omasa. Everyone admits that a dead Goy, if you touch him or carry him, everyone admits that you become Tameh. Why? So Avram Berkowitz asks, why is it different than Tumas Oyel? Shalei nema Adam Ella Gershom. Eitzel Tumas Ohalin. Because the word Adam is only written by what? Tumas. What does Tumas Oyel mean? roof tuma.
Tuma, yeah.
Shenema Adam Kiyomis Ba'oihel. So that means a Yid.
A Yid, yeah.
A Yid. But the word Adam is not written by any other type of tuma. So if you touch a dead guy, you're just as tuma as touching a dead Yid. The only thing is, if you're in the same tent with him, and since he's not called Adam, so roof tuma, tent tuma, being under the same roof does not apply to what? To a goy. But other types of tumas meis applies to a goy, just like a Yid. Because the word Adam is only written Adam Kiyomus Ba'oihel. Right? That tumas oihel, it says the word Adam, implying, and who's called the Adam? Atem Kriyim Adam. The Apostle in Yecheskel 34, Yidna called Adam, but not Goyim. So since the word Adam is written by tumas oihel, the Torah is telling us that tumas oihel only applies to what? To a dead Yid, not a dead Goy. But it doesn't say the word oihel by other types of tuma. Right? Rashi says, Shalai Nema Adam Elo Eitzel Tumas Oihel. So therefore, other types of tuma, carrying or stepping on a grave of a goy, you're just as tamei as a dead Yid. Because the word Adam is only written by Tumas Oihel. Okay?
What is the name of the guy?
What? Nachri. It says Nachri. Ein Nachrim Kuyin Adam. See that? Atam Kriyim Adam, ve'ein Nachrim Kriyim Adam. Avi, you have that? Not PC, is it? You have it, Avi. See, it says Cheskel Lamed Daled, or you don't? Cheskel Lamed Daled in parentheses.
Yeah.
Okay. Atam Kriyim Adam. See that?
Yeah.
Ve'ein Nachrim Kriyim Adam. Don't publicize this. Okay.
Translated.
You are called a mensch, but for some reason, I don't know, Nachrim not called mensch. I don't know. It's not too PC. But anyway, it only means in this context. It's not a put down of Goyim. Right. It means that Goyim don't have Tumas Oihel. That's what it means. It's a narrow definition, Rabbi Yaakov Meir. Please, don't get the wrong idea. It's a narrow definition that Goyim don't have Tumas Oihel. Okay? That's it.
They have a different soul or something.
That's right. They don't have Tumas Oihel. But other type, until you touch a dead Goy, you're just as Tamei. Okay? Now, what's puzzling Rashi? Atem u'shvichem. So, what's puzzling Rashi? The POW Goyim, the live Goy, cannot get any Tumah. He's not in the Parsha. So, go ahead. Lo. No. A live Goy, it doesn't get Tumah. He doesn't need to get spritz. There's no concept of Tumah by a live Goy. He's not in the Parsha. Ella, so what does it mean? Oh. You hear what it means? Thank God for the oral Torah. B'nai Brit organization. What's B'nai Brit? Yidden. Only Yidden, B'nai Brit are part of what? Tumah, the Tahara. So what are your captives? No, it means if your captives join the Brit, if your captives decide next year or in 9 years to become what? Jewish, and then they get Tamei, they too will need to get spritz.
If and when they become Jewish.
Or if and when. First day. Now, Rabbi Yaakov Goldman. A goy touched 900 dead bodies. He converts to Judaism. Does he? Yeah. As a goy, he touched 900 dead bodies. You got to hear this. He converts to Judaism. Does he have to get spritzed? No. Because ger shedet gayer kekotan shenolat. What Rashi means is, after he converts to Judaism, and then he touches what?
A dead body.
I might think that since he used to be a goy, the Parsha of Tumah doesn't apply to him at all. Kamash Milan. That what? That after he converts and he touches a dead guy,
that
applies to him like a born Yid. I wouldn't know that. I might think, since he was born a goy, and he had no tumah then, so maybe he's out of the ball game forever.
Once he gets a soul, he's Jewish. There's no difference between
I'm a soul, man. I might think that. He wasn't born. But again,
everything applies.
when he touches as a goy, doesn't matter what he did, because ger shel ke kotan shenolad. A ger is like a newborn baby. Starting over.
What if
Get a soul
he
transplant.
doesn't get any
I'm a
credit
soul.
he doesn't get any credit for his hates before then either?
When does he get credit?
Since he's not, is he bald tshuva? Does he get credit for
What does he get sheva? I don't know. He's starting over. He gets a new slate.
I said so. With the
I don't know.
sins that he
Cut
did,
on Shenailah.
since the sins that he did when he was a non-Jew, I don't like going. The sins that he did when he was a non-Jew, does he get credit for them? Since he
That the Rambam says the one exception. If he killed a yid when he was a goy,
that's different.
and he converted to Judaism, he still gets punished. That's the exception.
Oh, so
If he killed a yid while he was a goy, and now he's a yid, he'll still get punished.
yes,
I kekotan shenoilad. Every rule has exceptions. There's a rule and there's exceptions.
If he killed a non-Jew,
Yeah, non-Jew, he's
no problem.
Why?
Wow, that's amazing.
That's not PC.
it's not PC. Don't publicize that.
Why is it?
I don't know, but this is what the Rambam says in Hilchos Malachim. That's what he says.
Where's the Tamei Bohelo? If you're inside a building,
What?
if there's the dead body in the hospital,
That's right.
So
So you go to Shaarei Tzedek before you walk
put the
in.
lights on.
There's a sign before the guard. Kahanim Mizarim. Alti Kanes. Go to Shaarei Tzedek Hospital and Hadassah. Look by the guard. Says Tizaher Kahanim Asher Kanes. That means there's a dead body there, and they didn't get a chance to bring him to the morgue. The morgue is built in Jewish hospitals where the tumah is trapped. There's a halal. Halachically, there's a hollow space between the body and the top of the refrigerator. So it's built. So before they get the dead body into the morgue, it says there's a sign. Aseli Kanes.
We don't have those signs.
No, but that can say like an oval then in the hospital.
That's right.
So,
You gotta wait till the body's in the morgue, because then the tumah is nifsak. Because there's a halal, there's a hollow space. The morgues are built in Israel where the tumah is trapped. It's halal. But until they get the body down to the morgue, Kohanim can't enter. There's a sign, a shelet. Kohanim asur lekanes. You're not a Kohen, Gabriel, are you?
What about like the people that work for the Chevra Kadisha? They're always.
So
Well,
they can't
they-
be.
they back
There's
the
no
Kohen.
problem for an Israelite.
It's only Kohen. There's a problem.
There's no problem for an Israelite.
The better question is.
Sei gesund und stark.
better
Feel
question is,
good.
What if you work for
Shabbat
you're a
shalom.
Kohen?
Be
You
well.
work for the
Shalom.
hospital and you're a Kohen. And you're a trouble.
A Chevra I can't be a Cohen. I
Right.
can't be a
But
Cohen.
somebody works in even the hospital, a doctor. He gets.
How could a doctor be a Cohen? There's a big problem. How could a doctor be a Cohen? Right? It's big.
Right, you're in an operating room. And
That's right.
something goes wrong.
That's
Right. Got to choose a different profession.
Yeah.
They never do a survey on that. How many doctors are Kohens?
What?
They ever do a
I
survey
don't
on
know.
that?
How you get a heter, kuach nefesh, this,
Right.
you know,
That's
B'teirim.
The closest I know is a Kohen who's a physical therapist, but I don't think that's a problem.
No, people don't usually die in physical therapy. They feel like they're going to die, but they usually die.
All right, so let's take a look at the. We're back in the Parashat Parah. I want to point out something marvelous in the Haftorah that we're going to read. The Parashat Parah, the Haftorah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's a Haftorah to which is Haftorah?
Well, it's a special.
There's a special, the way the back of the book.
Because
It's in the
a
back of the
Haftorah,
book.
Because it's a special section.
It's way in the back of the book, Avram. Way in the back.
Back in the back of the bush.
It's on page 655.
Too far.
Because it's not the regular Haftorah.
See that? Haftarah Parashas Parah. The book of 655. Haftarah Parashas Parah, right?
On the left side.
655.
Yecheskel 36.
Well, it's several sections.
Right. Okay.
Ashkenaz,
Yecheskel was a Sephardi, I think, wasn't he?
yeah.
Ezekiel, wasn't he a Sephardi? Avram.
Oh,
Ezekiel the
Yechezkel
prophet.
himself,
I think it was a Cohen, I know that. Yecheskel. So look at this pasuk, Abraham. Chav Bet. How do they learn this pasuk in Lakewood, Avram? Look at this pasuk. Look at pasuk Chav Bet very carefully.
6:15.
5 Chav Bet. L'chein emor lebeit Yisrael. So should you say to the Yidden. Who's you? Yecheskel. Right? Koyomar Hashem Elakim. Thus says the Lord God. Loi lemanchem ani ose beis Yisrael. I'm not going to act and redeem you for your sake. Ki im l'shem kotchi. You know how I'm going to bring the final redemption? Ki im l'shem kotchi, because of my holy name, asher chilaltem bagoyim, that you Yidden have desecrated. How did you desecrate by goyim? Asher batam sham. The very fact that Yidden live where? Constitutes a chilul. How do you learn this in Borough Park? Help! Oh, I learned this in Lakewood. How are they going to read this Haftorah in Lakewood? Ephraim. They read the same Haftorah in Lakewood. Listen what the man said. Look, the prophet Yecheskel. We think we ain't got no prophets today, Avram. The Gemara Megillah said there were millions of prophets. Millions. How come only 48 are recorded? The Gemara Megillah, remember page 7. Those millions, they spoke what?
Only for that.
For their time. We're not interested. But the prophets that are recorded, says the Gemara Megillah, are speaking to what?
Otherwise,
Our time.
All time.
Megillah, page 7. Us. That's why they're written down. Unlike millions who aren't written down. So look what God says through the mouth of Yecheskel. Again, L'chein emor lebeit Yisrael, Kayomar Hashem Elakim, Loi lemanchem ani ose beis Yisrael. I'm not going to do it. Buat. Bring the gula for your sake, because you ain't got no schusim. Ki im l'shem kachi. But God says, I have to protect my holy name. Asher chilaltem bagoyim, that you Yidden have what? Desecrated my holy name bagoyim. What does bagoyim mean? Among the nations? How? Asher batem sham. The very fact that you came and you stay there constitutes Avram what? Isn't that an amazing pasuk? Rabbi Yaakov. Sent a message to Delaware. How to read this off Torah did. But it says here.
It says batem.
Asher batem sham. The very fact that you came there.
well, that's we have a choice.
But God says it
Something to
again.
go.
Look at Pasuk Chav Aleph. Gibakuk Rav Yaakov Pasuk Chav Aleph. The Echmoel al Shem Kachi. Again he says it. God says, I will have Rachmunis on my holy name. You see Chav Aleph? Asher chilu beis Yisrael bagoyim. That the house of Israel have desecrated my holy name. How? Again, Asher bo shama. That you came there. So he says it again in Pasuk Chav Aleph and again in Pasuk Chav Bet. Wow.
This is okay for.
Why does he have to say twice? Batem sham, Asher bo shama. We know they came there. The very fact that they're there is a chil Hashem. Don't say it. That's what he's saying. Yes.
No, somewhere brought there. They didn't go there.
What does batem mean? Let's look Hebrew. Batem means you came there. Bo el Parah, you come.
They were.
But that's what it says. That's what God says. Asher bo shama. Batem. What does batem mean, Avam? You know Hebrew better than me. Bo means to what? Come, right? And batem sham.
It's voluntarily batem.
I don't know.
The fact that they're staying there now is voluntary. They're staying there.
Staying is not batem. Excuse me.
What does
No,
batem
no,
mean?
you say button, you can say that maybe they were forced to go there.
Yes.
But the fact that they're still there, they could leave.
It's not batem. It's different.
So he's giving him the header. He's giving him the
Now, why is
Because
this?
the law only says about Borum.
The translation is not.
All right, I'll say Williamsburg. I grew up in Williamsburg, okay? We have in Williamsburg.
Okay.
Oh, they burned the flag on Purim and they videotaped it. It's in the New York Post. The Satmar burned the flag publicly, an Israeli flag.
No.
In the New York Post, the Satmar in Williamsburg, they burned the Israeli flag. They made a great Kiddush Hashem.
Great to read what Rabbi Wein had to say today.
And that's Judaism.
We're our own worst enemy.
We are and always were. There's an amazing Gemara in Chulun, page 90. I couldn't make this up. Page Chulun, page 90. When Esav, the Sar Shel Esav attacked Yaakov, How was he dressed?
Esau.
How'd you know? Chulin, page 90, Avram Berkowitz. The Gemara is so profound. Chulin, after Yaakov was attacked in the middle of the night by the Sar Shel Esau, the symbol of evil. The Talmud says, what was he wearing? He was dressed like a chusid.
You're talking about the angel.
The angel. What does it mean he was wearing dressed like a chusid? It says Talmud Chuchim. Because evil can be disguised as a chusid. Don't be fooled by the dress. The worst evil can masquerade like a chusid. Like they went to Iran, they had a Holocaust conference. And they embraced Ahmadinejad. They embraced Haman. These were Amalekites, dressed like Hasidim.
The Federation took the kids to see, the students to see the grave of the Arab that was running the place for so long. Was the Arab, the one that's here for the PLO for all the years.
Arafat?
Arafat. They took him to see his grave.
Who took him? Who took whom to see him?
The Federation in America took Hillel students that are going to Harvard to see the grave of Arafat.
It's a great book. The Netarakat.
Now they're fighting. Abu Mamzer and Mohammed Dachalan are each accusing each other of murdering Arafat. It's very good for us. Our peace partners are accusing each other of murdering Arafat. You hear this?
But they inherit the money. He was worth over $1 billion or something.
She's laughing all the way to the bank. Mrs. Arafat in Paris. Shua.
So they give their money to these tzaddikim, and then he puts it back in Europe. Yeah, passes to Europe. It's very nice.
Recently, I read in Ynet.
In what?
In Ynet News, that Netarakat.
Turkarta.
It's one that don't think that this is legitimate. They went to Germany to speak to Angela Merkel.
Yeah.
Who's the president of Germany, and tell her that Israel's not real.
Israel's not real.
Right. Are there any more fifth columns?
That is
I think Merkel knew
Esav dressed like a chussid.
Love your
Chulin Daf Tzadik. Amazing Gemara. Anyway, why is this a very optimistic prophecy? Chav Bet again. L'chein emor lebeis Yisrael koyam Hashem lakim loy lemanchem ani yoseh beis Yisrael. Not for your sake, but to protect my holy name. You know what God is saying here? We're too big to fail. Unlike Lehman Brothers, that went belly up, it's just incredible, Avram. God says, me and you were in the same boat. Hashem has to protect his holy name, which is called in us. So we are too big to fail. God cannot let us go the way Lehman Brothers, remember?
Yes.
How they went?
They took a lot of Jews down with them.
Hashem has to protect his investment. Us. And his holy name is called by us, Yisrael. Don't you see? Wow, Avram, we're in the same boat together. Wow, that's a very optimistic prophecy that the Gula has to come despite our what? Shtuyot and sinat chinam. God cannot allow us to fail. We're too big to fail. Remember that headline? I think Chase Manhattan Bank, we're bigger than Chase. Chase Manhattan Bank was too big to fail. Did fail? No, it was too big to fail.
Insurance company.
AIG was too big to fail. Too big to. So this is a very optimistic a prophecy. Nachon? Anyway. Let's go back to Parashas Parah. Someone should talk about Parashas Parah.
6:55.
Now, isn't it strange that the Kohanim involved in the Parah Duma, they have to become Tameh to cleanse a Yid? There's a message in here somewhere, page 478. Right? 478. The Kohanim involved in what? Remember we said except the Spritzer. Remember everybody else, all the Kohanim, a bevy of Kohanim, all become Tameh.
Yeah.
Just so one Yidel Shabbat be Tohar. Why does the Kohen, Kahanim, on duty,
Spritzer doesn't become
no. See, you weren't here yesterday. Good thing you came. The Spritzer doesn't become Tameh.
Really?
Right, good thing
The
you
whole thing's one big hope.
The Spritzer, everybody involved,
Except the Spritzer.
except the Spritzer, becomes Tameh. We proved it yesterday, because it says he should continue to spritz.
Yeah.
If he's Tameh, how can he continue to spritz?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Right?
The
So
logic.
the stay, the spritzer. But why are all the Kahanim involved? Why do they have to become what?
They become tummy.
Just to cleanse one Yid. You have Slavechik's kasha? To answer this kasha, of course, he what? Of course.
All the other.
In all of the 613 mitzvahs that we do, when we make a bracha, we don't add the word be'ahava. The only one. Madua v'lama gersha. All mitzvahs you do with love, but the coin of the bracha. How do they make asher krishonu b'krishosa shel aharon? V'tzivanu levorech et ama Yisrael ba'ahava. Madua v'lama.
Becoming tummy.
What? What's?
Becoming tummy when
What?
becoming tummy. With love. That's the love.
A Kohen has to love a Yid so much that he's willing to become Tameh, if that's what it takes to cleanse another Yid. How far does he have to love another Yid? That I have to become willing to defile myself, if that's what it takes to make another Yid pure. Because they are the teachers. What it means to love another Yid. They are the role model. How far do you have to go to love another Yid? Kahanim, they are the teachers. They have to set the example.
To become willingly tummy.
If that's what it takes to cleanse another Yidel. Wow. Even to get tummy, if that's what it takes to cleanse another Yid. So that's what V'hafta Rachel Kamocha, and of course the Kahanim, they are the teachers, so they have to set the what? They have to set the example. But he gives another term. It's so deep.
Can you imagine a Kohen hates another Jew and he's in front of the congregation?
The halacha says that if a Kohen doesn't love all the Yid in the congregation, he shouldn't do Birkat Kahanim.
Yeah.
It's a bracha levatala.
Yeah.
It's a bracha levatala.
How many?
You should walk out.
It needs to clean.
In the contrary?
What?
In the contrary. If the Israel hates the Kohen,
He should walk out. He should.
Everyone loves everyone. Everyone's not going to peace, friendship,
Wow.
and brotherhood. By God. Think positive.
Yeah. One, after Eichik went further. Why is the Kohen the role model to teach love for another Jew? What does it got to do with me?
Only Aaron was big on love. The rest of them had a temper.
No, the Kahanim, Oyev Sholem, that's Aaron taught his children. That's the Kohen has to set the example. But Rav Soloveitchik says why. This is what he says here. He says the Kohanim, they had no income of their own. They lived off of the gifts of others. Truma, Chof Dalet Matnas Kuhuna. Listen to this. The more income the Israelites earned, the better it was for the Kohen. So he truly loved the Yidden. It was very easy because he was really had a good eye because of self-interest. If he blesses the Yidden with love, it's good for him. I think it's called a boomerang. Yeah, Rav Soloveitchik's point. Because he had no income of his own. His income depended on the income of the Yidden. So the more love, his blessing is poured out with love, the more effective, the more money they'll kick back to him. The 24 priestly gifts. Geschmack. Your success is my success.
The more blessings.
The Kohen taught, we're all connected. but he was uniquely qualified. He couldn't be jealous of the other guy's wealth because his own parnasa depended on the more wealth the Yid has. So he was the prime role model to teach that what? We're all connected.
One for all,
That
one
was,
for all, for one.
that's the example.
Yeah, but he's a role model with an ulterior motive. That's why he did it, because he had personal interest in it.
But
so
you have-
but
we're
that's
human.
How's that a role model?
Love each, love,
You got-
love,
yeah,
You
yeah.
told
love your
Shalom
brother like you love
Interested in watching you love your brother.
Love your
Ma-
brother like you love
Nike,
yourself.
just do it. Hear the Rav's point.
Yeah, but it's a weak point because he did it because of an alternative.
What's the difference?
ulterior
Why he did it?
motive.
He proved that we're all connected. That it doesn't make sense to be jealous of someone else's success, because ultimately every Yid's success is my success. Because we're all what? Part of Klal Yisrael. He was uniquely qualified to teach that, because he was a living, breathing example of that. That we're all connected. We're all part of Klal Yisrael. Interesting, right? Interesting. Now, interesting vart over here. If you go back to the page 477, Zois Chukas HaTorah, Posuk Bet. Siva Hashem Leimor. Vikcholecha Parah Duma Tmima, Ashe Ein Bo Mum, Ashe Loi Ola Leo Ol. You hear? So we ain't got a Parah Duma today, right? Why go into such great detail? We read it. Ashe Ein Bo Mum, that has no physical defect, that has no yoke on it. So the Kabbalah teaches if a person thinks that he has no mum, if a person thinks, I'm perfect, I have nothing to correct, it's a simin, he doesn't have the oil malchus shemayim. Yiddish? If he thinks, ein bo mum, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm okay, I have no mum, it means, adayin loy ola oleho ol. You still have not accepted the old malchus shemayim on you. Because if you did, you realize you have plenty of mumim. I mean, hit the word. Like it, right? Baal Shem Tov. Good the word. Interesting, right? Yeah. Now you know the story. The Parah Duma, even Shlomo Melech didn't know.
You didn't
He didn't know.
take
Right? Didn't know, right? There's a story in the Middle East, you know, where the bishops would come to a town and they'd like to debate Yidden. They knew Hebrew perfect. And they'd like to debate Yidden, and to win the debate, they would expel all the Jews from the town. You know, just to stick it to the Jews, excuse for Parah. So this bishop came to this town, Rabbi Yaakov, the Middle Ages, and he was an expert in the Hebrew language. And he went to the rabbi and he said, I want someone to debate with me. 24 hours to supply a candidate. If you don't, you'll be expelled from the town. We just kicked out. You can't take your belongings with you. And whoever wins the debate, the loser will be beheaded on the spot. He came with 2 Swiss guards, you know, from the Vatican. 2 Swiss guards from the Vatican. Whoever loses the debate will be what? Beheaded on the spot. If you don't supply a challenger, you're all going to be what? Pogromed.
Kangaroo court.
Right? So the rabbi was terrified. In the debate with this bishop, he was like a Shmada Yid, like Pablo Cristiani. The worst Jew haters are Geshmada Yidden. The head of the KGB is Vextia. Lubavitcher Rebbe's own nephew. Unbelievable. He arrested the father-in-law, Yosef Schneerson. Hard to believe. They became the worst Jew. Unbelievable. Communism, avodah zorah for them. So anyway, so the rabbi terrified. This Geshmada, your bishop, he knew a Hebrew backwards and forward. Who are they going to put up? So no one want, so the ignorant shoemaker, he volunteered. He volunteered, what? Nobody else is going to go. And if they don't supply candidate, they're all going to be pogromed.
Ja, ja.
So Rabbi Ein Choice, the ignorant shoemaker, gets up there in the town square. The whole town is assembled. 2 Swiss bulvanim with, Swiss guard from the Vatican. With the sword. Anyone loses the debate, immediately he's beheaded, right? Mm-hmm. So the bishop looks at the shoemaker, starts to laugh at him. He says, you go first, ask me. Ask me a question in Hebrew. Whoever doesn't know the answer will be beheaded on the spot. Mm-hmm. So the shoemaker says, oh, great bishop, what does ani lo yodea mean? The bishop says, I don't know. So all the townspeople pick him up and they bring him to the shul. Oh, you great hero. How did you know to do that? He says, I'll tell you. When I went to Cheder, I asked my Rebbe, what does ani lo yodea mean? The Rebbe says, ich weiß nicht. If my Rebbe doesn't know, this bishop is going to know.